Okay, good morning, people. Today on Get Kraken with Bob, we are going to do whipping. Okay, so let's get smacked into it. This is Get Kraken with Bob. This is an episode of Get Kraken with Bob. We here on this channel, we being I, talk about sailing, fishing, and basically anything to do with seamanship, the ocean, and the sea. Specifically sailing. So let's get onto it. Let's get cracking. So here we have twining line. Okay. So with our twining line, we make the whipping. Here I have macrame cord as an example of a rope, 3-strand rope. So 3-strand rope we need for this project. It can be done with 4-strand rope, 5-strand rope, but to keep it simple, 3-strand rope will do. So first thing we do is we open our strands of rope as so. So we turn the strands of rope from being clockwise to anti-clockwise. Now that they're loose, okay, now we note that each strand is twisted anti-clockwise, but when we put together our rope, the strands turn around clockwise. Okay, so each strand is twisted anti-clockwise. The strands are then braided together clockwise. So we just simply twist them and they come together and they form our rope. So that's how a rope works. So the combination of anti-clockwise twisted strands and then twisting those strands clockwise creates friction in our rope, and that's what gives it its strength and tension. So we've done that. Now when we undo this, I'm going to show you first of all the simple method of common whipping, and then I'll show you guys I'll then show you sailor makers whipping, which I actually learned the sailor makers first, but that doesn't matter. So I'll do common whipping first. It's probably easier and more simple to understand. Basically, we get that line. So this is the procedure for doing sailor makers whipping. Now, I just wanted to show you guys what you do with the strands. Okay, we'll cut that off, and we'll do a normal, regular common whipping first. Okay, so sailor makers whipping, we'll do this. Common whipping, it's just you cut the end of the line, okay, like so, and you've got the end. It's all frayed. You don't want it to be frayed. That'll undo, and then you've got an undone rope on the deck, and it's all messy. It's all over the place. No good. So to avoid that, there are a few things you can do. As a sailor, we have a kind of chemical paint that we dip our rope tip in. So there's it's a whipping paint, and it's a chemical that just stays on the tip, and then it dries and it's permanent and it's great, awesome. If you don't have that, if you have twining line like here, this will do too. It's a good little skill to have, and it's good to have more than one ways to skin a cat. Always smarter to have more than one way. In case you don't have one, you can always do the other. Okay, so short tail. So I've got my book here. If you guys want to be on the same page as me, the complete sailing manual is a great reference. I think it's fantastic. It's really good, serving me very well as I'm doing my sailing career, which I'm not getting paid for yet, which I don't really expect to be, but that doesn't matter. Maybe this will kick off and I'll be getting paid here. So, if you guys want to subscribe, please like below. hit me up, send me a message. I'll be sure to check that out. Make sure that I've got my followers happy, and you guys correct me if I'm doing anything wrong. I'd like to know. Or any way I can make these videos better would be greatly appreciated. So, common whipping, we have a loop, simply putting that loop on our line, moving it up a few notches perhaps to get near the tip of it, the end. Okay, then as per our instructions on the book, we have whipping going, so, so that's there. Okay, just to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so that's as such there. Okay, so that's spaced out evenly. They're not crossing over. Just note it's all neat. I'm trying to do things as neat as I can. Okay, as neat as possible, but I can actually do what I need to do. So that's that. Now it's telling me to just simply twist around this loop up the working end of our rope towards the end of the loop. Okay, so that's what I'll do. It's very simple. This is a common whipping. It's very simple and straightforward. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch that, keep that together, and then I'm going to get that line. I'm going to start to wrap around, being gentle, don't have to rush. Simply to start turning it around, and I want to get the twining nice and close together so it looks really neat and it gets the most out of it. So it will keep more tension, more friction as I'm doing it close. Each twining line nice and close to the next. I just wrap around, taking my time. I'm not rushing at all. I'm just really taking my time with this. When you go out sailing, a lot of it, when you're racing, it's very quick. Bang, do this, do that, smash it. There's a bit of swearing sometimes if you've been with some sailors swear and because they want to go fast. But that's okay. I prefer not to swear. There's no need. But you just keep wrapping this around, take your time. So with sailing, if I'm a cruiser sailor, I prefer to take my time. If you're racing, you take your time too, but you're doing the fastest that you can at the same as well. So this is good. Like you want to do this fast, but if you're learning, take your time. You know, I'm learning sailing every day, and it's a real art form. And my mentors, they told me, look, don't rush, don't kill yourself. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep learning, and when you're ready, you'll go fast. And I've gone fast before. I just had to go, well, okay, know your limits and take a step. And this is great analogy. Doing the rope work and all the little intricacies behind sailing, it's so good for us, not just for sailing, but just for life in general, because they're just small, intricate things, and it teaches us to pay attention to detail and to not miss anything. Take your time with things, and good things come to ones who wait. Teaches you patience. Patience is a virtue. It's one of the best virtues, I'd say. It really is, and my sailing and fishing have done that for me and many, many other men and women out there. So here I am. Here we go. So that's our common whipping. Now I've done it extra long because I just felt like doing it extra long for the example. There we are. It's not focusing very well, but you get the idea. Okay, let me just see if I can zoom that or something. Okay, that's what it looks like. Sorry guys about the quality of the video here. I don't have a super awesome quality phone yet. Hopefully if this channel kicks off, I'll be able to afford one. That's really nice. but that's what it is for now. Okay, so we've got the loop there, and here's the end of the twining that I've done. Now, what it tells me to do here next is really simple, guys. So all I've done, I've just put a loop over the line, over our rope, and a loop of twining, and then I've wrapped the twining around repetitively over and over until the tip end of the loop. I've got one working in there and another one here as well. Remember that one that we left here? Now I think what we have to do here now is there's an action of putting this one through the loop, which is correct, yes. So I put that through the loop. There we go. And because that's through the loop, I can now tighten and tension that loop that's gone through there. So that loop, the loop is tensioned by the original tip of twining that I had at the end, at the bottom there. Okay, so it's not as easy as it looks because this twining is waxed. It's waxed twining, which is good. But it's good because it gives a grip and it allows it to wrap around very nicely. So it says pull the end of the twine through the loop, which I've done very nicely, very good. Okay, I'll just pull that back so it's there. Okay, so that's through the loop. That's all very good. It's a bit twisted there, so I'm just going to remember be neat, as neat as you can be. It really pays off to be neat with this kind of stuff. Okay, there's the loop. Alright, that's a better view of it. There you go. That's loop. This is the end of the twining line. I'm going to put that through the loop on the outside in. Okay. Pull that up and through. Okay, that's in. Now from there, I'm going to get the other end and I'm going to pull. But don't pull on that one. You don't want to pull on that one yet. You want to pull on this back one to make the loop smaller. So I'm pulling it. That loop is coming taut now, and then I pull the other side, just so that this tip doesn't like unroll, unfurl. So I pull that back, make it neat again. Remember, keep it neat and tidy. Okay. So now, as you can see, that loop has been tightened as a result of me pulling on the original end of that line. So if I just pull again, make it even more tight. There we go. That's making it nice and secure there. Okay, and then I pull on this because there's a loose bit here. So I think to tighten that, I just have to pull on this end, and there it goes. Okay. So it does look like that, but because I've tightened it before, it's now not going to do that easily. So I will loosen that up. Right, that's not actually how it's going to work. Okay, so that end is just my error there, and I can just wrap that around, and that's okay. I can fix that by wrapping it and making that whole thing tighter. There we go. Okay. So what I have to do now is basically you see that it's loose there, and I have to just keep wrapping it up so that I get rid of that loose that loose end, just that loose bit, and I just keep rolling it until it gets all tight and all nice and neat and tidy, and then I'm a happy sailor. Okay. So yeah, this is good fun. It's nice to pass the time to do things like this. It's not arts and crafts at home. It's more fiddly and technical, but it depends what you like doing. And all you sailors out there, you know what I'm talking about. Um, Seasoned sailors know this stuff. People that are learning, I'm learning and I'm teaching. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how the best people become the best people. You learn, you teach, you learn, and you just keep going. Anyway, so you just keep twisting this. So as you can see, I've made a mistake, and it's okay because maybe seeing me make a mistake will teach you something more, and will teach you how to rectify your mistakes. A lot of the sailing I've done, I've had to fix things on the fly and working under pressure, and that's just the nature of sailing, and that's the nature of life. So I like sailing because it reflects life, reflects our problems, and it helps me to deal with my problems. So yeah, I want to thank William Stevenson. If he's seeing this video, which I'm sure you will, Bill or William is his name, Bill. Captain Bill, thank you. I want to thank Peter Ward for getting me out on a taser for the first time. Um, and I want to thank Ryan Reynolds for teaching me how to sail in the first place with a windsurfer. Thank you guys. You three men are amazing, and you've given me a lot of foundational wisdom. Thank you. So that's my basic or common whipping, and that's all there is to it. There we go. So it's just that loop. Yeah, it's going to get a little bit tighter. So it's just a loop, and then wrapping the twine up the loop. Then at the end, you don't keep going until past the loop. You leave the loop a little bit off, and then you put your working end of the twining line through the loop. Then you tighten that loop by pulling at the original working end, standing end. Sorry, you pull at the standing end, which I've snipped off. You pull at the standing end, and that will tighten that loop through against your working end. And then that's it. Once you've tightened it, you can pretty much give it the snip. There we are. It's tight enough for me. And that's it. So that's just your basic common whipping. Okay. Cut that up. There we go. That's done. Okay. Tighten it up a bit. Make it neat. Remember, neatness is pretty much everything. And keep it nice and neat and tidy. There we go. Okay. So finish it off just by snipping it at the end. To cut that end. There we go. Done. Okay. And I'm a happy sailor. So that's our common whipping. I've done it extra long. Usually it'd be half the length, maybe. So as a general rule, you want to make your whipping 3 times the width of your rope. So in this case, it should be that. It shouldn't be that long, but it should be about that long. Okay, so that's it. That's whipping. Done. Finished. Now, after that, we have another type which is called sailor maker's whipping. Okay, so that's not as simple, but it's pretty easy once you do it. It's not actually that difficult. Don't be overwhelmed. Just and for those of you who aren't so tactically inclined, um, get used to this kind of stuff. You start with things like a figure eight knot, or then a double figure eight knot to a stopper knot as a stopper knot. A figure eight knot is a stopper knot. You have to know the bowline. That's the most basic, very common knot that all sailors have to know. You just know it blindfolded. You can do it with your eyes closed. So you practice. You just practice until you get it, and then once you get it, you just repeat, and then you've got it forever, pretty much. That's it. Easy. So I'm going to cut this again, and then give you guys the example of our sailor maker's whipping, which is a lot more fun to do, and it looks a lot better. It looks way more professional. Once it's finished, it's very satisfying as well. It's satisfying not to do. So we'll do that. We'll get to that now. So with that, here, the strands I have to undo for my sailor maker's whipping. I'll have to undo my strands. Okay, so I'm undoing them. So undo your strands. Okay, so for this, I'll need a marker. So wait 1 moment, I'll go get the marker. Okay, here we are. Got the marker. Alright, so the reason why we need the marker is that when we do this loop this time, it will go over one of the strands, and then we have to know which strand that was for a procedure after. So I'm just telling you guys now so you understand more or less what's going on. So here, 3 strands. One of them I mark at the tip, preferably. Just mark it at the tip. Put it on the piece of paper. I just put it on a piece of paper here, and then just mark at the tip of it. Make it all black. It's all blacky, so then you can see which one it is that you went over. And then you go over it, and then you do what you got to do. Okay? Okay. Now we put the mark there, nice and generously. It's very good. I like it. I think you like it too. And then without further ado, I'll bring to you a sailor maker's whipping. Okay, so that's done. Now, once we got that, we can then do our sailor maker's whipping. So on my example, it didn't tell me to do that. I came up with that myself. A lot of things you're just going to have to improvise and figure out. But that's why you got Uncle Bob here. And that's why you got Dead Kraken with Bob. Teach you the things that they don't teach you at the school, and they'll teach you the things that the book doesn't tell you. Okay, so you got the mark. That will be your guide. I separate my strands 3 ways, so it's just neat and tidy. And then what I do, I get my whipping, okay, and I make a loop again. So again, it's a loop. I'm just gonna let that out a bit. There we go. So again, it's a loop. This time I'm going to put that loop over the strand that I marked. Okay, just putting it over and down through to the end here. Okay, so what I will do now, as you can see, zooming in, I put that over the strand and I come back and I just leave it there for now. Okay. Now once I've put that over, just re-show you again. Once I put that over, bring it down, Okay, now separate these two and I'll put it there. So it's between the other two. The loop is between the other two.